Hi everyone, it's Dan, and welcome to Drinking a Movie. So on this channel, we pair cocktails and spirits to some of the greatest movies ever made. Now if you're new to the channel, or if you're returning and haven't done so, please click the subscribe button, please click the like button. You can even click the notification bell, which will let you know when new videos are posted. It'll go a long way to supporting me and helping this channel out, so thank you in advance. Alright, so tonight, we head to the docks. First, we're going to make an absolutely tasty cocktail. It's a rye whiskey-based cocktail that's super savory, super delicious. And next, we're going to look at an Oscar award-winning film that's considered one of the greatest American movies of all time. So, both these offerings pack a punch. So let's roll up our sleeves and get to work. Okay, so first on the menu is a cocktail called the Longshoreman. Now, like I said, it's savory, it's tasty, and has a little bit of bitterness. Not bitter like this, but more of a round, savory, spicy note to it, and it's really, really good. And then second, we'll be looking at the 1954 film On the Waterfront. Now, this really showcases the immense talent of Elia Kazan, the director, and of course Marlon Brando, the star of the film, who really takes method acting to that whole next level. So two fantastic offerings that I hope you enjoy. So what do you say? Let's go make that cocktail. Okay, so before we start making the cocktail and getting into the ingredients, let's give you a little bit of history around the Longshoreman. So this is a simple variation on a Manhattan. And the Manhattan, if you know, is generally rye whiskey. A lot of people use bourbon, but it's usually rye whiskey, vermouth, and bitters. And that combination is heavenly, to say the least. This cocktail itself, Longshoreman, was recently invented in the 21st century by Abigail Gullo, and she is a renowned bartender, spent time in New York and in New Orleans, and is now currently the restaurant and bar manager at Columbia Hospitality in Seattle. So she has a great reputation. This is a fantastic drink. So let's get into it. Step one, the rye. We have Bulleit rye here. Now, Bulleit is a great Kentucky product. Really cool distillery if you ever get a chance to tour it. Really nice folks there too as well. But Bulleit rye is excellent whiskey for sipping or mixing. And in this case, we're going to mix it. And you can find this essentially at any spirit store. It's a very popular product. So we have our mixer with fresh ice. No stale sitting out melting ice. And we want to add 2 ounces. Let me get my OXO jigger. Again, you've heard me talk about it before. Excellent product. Love this jigger. Okay, so that's rye. And as I said, a lot of people like bourbons as well, but this drink is going to be sweet enough as it is with the inclusion of these two, which I'll get into in a moment. So I recommend the rye. It's a matter of personal taste, I suppose. Okay, the second ingredient is called Averna Amaro. Now, this, if you are keeping score with the Manhattan creation, would be the replacement of the bitters, really. But this is not bitter in a harsh, biting sense. This is much more flavorful, actually a tinge of sweetness to it. It's a Sicilian liqueur, very popular in southern Italy, and a lot of people drink this kind of as an after dinner drink, little cordial, if you will. So this is going to work great to replace those bitters, and this recipe calls for ½ an ounce. Now you should be able to find this in most stores that sell spirits. And you'll want to look for it either near where you can find the bitters or even some of the liqueurs. So look for this by name. It's excellent stuff. So that's ½ ounce of the Amaro. The third ingredient is called Punt. Now, Punt, again, another Italian liqueur that really is a vermouth and herbal bitter combination. And this is my first experience with it, and I can tell you I've made a drink with it already, and it's really, really good stuff. little bit harder to find than the Amaro, but your larger spirit stores should carry it. Punt. And this recipe calls for ½ ounce. Got a nice red color to it. Now, if you just cannot find Punt anywhere and you want to try to make this cocktail, there is a substitute that's recommended. And that substitute would be taking sweet vermouth and Campari, and you want 2 parts of the vermouth to 1 part of the Campari. Now, this recipe only calls for a ½ ounce of Punt anyway, so you'll have to do the math on that. I'm not good at math, but you can substitute if you cannot find Punt. It's just good to know. All right, so once we have all our ingredients in the shaker, we want to give it a stir. Now, again, the recommended stir time is 90 seconds. So start the clock. Okay. Once we're done stirring, and we have our chilled cocktail glass, I keep it in the freezer. Notice the nice chilled frost glass. Oh, it feels so nice. All right. So we have our concoction. We want to strain it. So just use a strainer. Look at that beautiful color. Man, that looks nice. All right, get that out of the way here. All right, we're not done yet. Looks beautiful, but the last step that we need is the flamed orange peel. So let's do it. Okay, so we have our match and our orange peel. We just want to hold the flame close to the orange peel, but not on it. We don't want to start a fire here. It's not a marshmallow. And then we're going to give it a squeeze here, and we should see a little spark. There. Perfect. And then when you have that done, just plop that into your drink. And oh my goodness, that looks good. Look at that. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh yeah, it smells nice too. All right, so we have our cocktail. Let's go check out the film. Hello, and welcome to the movie chair. So before we get into tonight's movie, as is our custom here, I'm going to give you my impressions on the Longshoreman. Again, lovely color, lovely aroma. A lot of the herbalness comes through in the aroma. But we all know the truth is in the taste, so give it a shot. Okay, yeah. There's a lot happening in this drink. You can imagine some of the ingredients we put into it. You do get a little bit of that rye, that spicy rye. It's lovely. But with the Amaro and the Punt, you're getting just this overall herbal, spicy, flavorful experience. You can tell that this drink is potent. If you're not careful, it can knock you on your keister, but it is delicious. You're going to get that herbalness. You're going to get that savory flavor. There is some slight bitterness, but it's not, like I said, bitter where your face puckers. It's just a nice overall balance to the sweetness, because the overriding top is sweet. Underneath it, nice foundation of kind of that herbal, lovely, lovely flavors. This is an outstanding cocktail. Excellent. All right. So let's talk on the Waterfront. So, as mentioned, came out in 1954. You had a young Brando who was really crushing it on the scene. In fact, the studio agreed to give Kazan more money once he landed Brando. Pretty significant move on his part. You're talking about a film that was nominated for 12 Oscars. It took home 8 of them, including 5 key categories, in my opinion. It took home Best Movie. It took home Best Director for Elia Kazan. Brando got a Best Actor for his performance, and as did Eva Marie Saint. She won Best Supporting Actress. It was a heck of a performance from her. And then the screenplay. Without the Story, You Have Nothing. Bud Schulberg won an Oscar for his great work in this film as well. So overall, plenty of accolades surround this film. It's arguably one of the greatest American movies made. So what makes this movie great to me? Really, the three big categories for me in this one are Brando, his performance, outstanding. Elia Kazan, masterful direction in this film, and then the story. Bud Schulberg's script is fantastic. So those three elements really are what make this great to me. Now, there's plenty of other elements around this film that are fantastic. The whole cast is great. You've got Eva Marie Saint, mentioned she won the Oscar. You have Carl Mullen, his character who plays the priest was fantastic. You have Lee J. Cobb, who's the corrupt union boss, and then the brother to Brando's character, played by Rod Steiger. Absolutely outstanding performance there as well. It's just, you can't get past all of the people who contributed to this movie and why it's great. But the three elements that I listed up front is what really moves the picture for me. All right, let's talk about Marlon Brando. As mentioned, he probably gives the performance of his career in this role. It was obviously a career full of great performances, but this one really, really shines to me. He plays the tough prize fighter turned longshoreman named Terry Malloy, and we follow Terry as he struggles between protecting the mob-connected union boss, played by Lee J. Cobb, and his right-hand man, Terry's brother, Charlie, played by Rod Steiger. So he can either protect them or testify against them, and he's kind of put in this really, really difficult situation. And Brando's so good that we can see the pain and anguish that he conveys through his character. Brando employs method acting, which is the style of acting that the actor really starts to embody the characters they're playing, and they really get deep emotional performances out of this. And he does this masterfully, and Brando's known as one of the kings of method acting for sure. But we see this pain, this anguish, the regret in his life as he goes through this journey. And then even when he gets some light and gets some hope in the form of meeting Edie and falling for Edie, it's played by Eva Marie Saint, and she won, like I mentioned, the Oscar for this. Even when he meets her, it's just one of those things where it's just everything always seems just out of reach, and it's just really, really fantastic performance all around from Brando. It's really summed up in one of my favorite scenes in the back of a cab where he's sitting with his brother Charlie. Terry and Charlie are in the back, and it's just, here's a little bit of it.
Could have been another Billy Khan. That skunk we got you for the manager. He brought you along too fast.
It wasn't him, Charlie. It was you. You remember that night in the garden? You came down my dressing room and said, "Kid, this ain't your night. We're going for the price on Wilson." You remember that? This ain't your night. My night. I could have taken Wilson apart. So what happens? He gets the title shot outdoors in a ballpark, and what do I get? A one-way ticket to Palookaville. You was my brother, Charlie. You should have looked out for me a little bit. You should have taken care of me just a little bit so I wouldn't have to take them dives for the short-end money.
Well, I had some bets down for you. You saw some money.
You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody. Instead of a bum, which is what I am. Let's face it.
All right, let's talk Elia Kazan. So Elia Kazan was known as an actor's director, and he embraced the new method acting school, which tied into his pursuit of realism in films. And he was always driven by the vivid, naturalistic direction and wanted the gritty, raw, realistic portrayals on screen. And very, very in tune to having his actors really pull the raw emotion out from the characters. And so you can imagine he and Brando had a really great working relationship on this picture for sure. Now, Kazan's career was marred by controversy when he testified in the McCarthy hearings. He named names, let's just put it that way. And it was an incident that pretty much polarized him with many other directors, other filmmakers, other crews and actors. And it's something that kind of stuck with him his whole life. Unfortunate situation for sure, but no matter where you fall in the argument, there's really no denying that Kazan was a great director, and his work on the Waterfront really, really shines. All right, let's talk screenplay. So Bud Schulberg came in. He replaced Arthur Miller, the American playwright, and as mentioned, delivered a great script, which won the Oscar. I don't know if you can get much more recognition than that. He was able to make this script rife with emotion and an insight into each of the characters, and it really held the entire story together. And that's really a credit to his skill. All right, so the overall experience for this film is fantastic. I hope you watch it. If you've seen it before, but it's been a while, watch it again. It's worth it. There's so much going on in the picture, just like there's so much going on in this glass. I'd really love to hear what your thoughts are on the film. Please post a comment on it. Post a comment on the drink. Hopefully you can make this, and hopefully you can find those ingredients easily enough. It's worth it. It's a really, really tasty drink. And I'm so glad you could join me. Again, if you get a chance, please hit that subscribe button. Please like this video. It would mean so much to me. And until next time, here's to you and your health. Cheers. Take care.